try to tell you guys, Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, they're all liars. They do not want to fight Deontay Wilder. Right? I'm not gonna lie to you. We're actually laughing at them right now, because the last time you guys have actually heard of Eddie Hearn speaking on Deontay Wilder, he stated that he was calling Shelly Finkel to potentially grab a fight with Deontay Wilder. And the crazy part about it, like I said before, I've said time and time again, Eddie Hearn knew that Deontay was fighting Robert Helenius. He knew that. But again, Eddie Hearn always calls Shelly Finkel or say he's quote-unquote calling Shelly Finkel or trying to reach out to Deontay Wilder when he's busy.
Those are the words of Tay Jones. Shout out to Tay Jones, Pac-Man ATL _ Tay. Okay. For those who don't know, he made first of all, he is one of the associates of Team Wilder. And I've interviewed Tay. We've talked for hours about certain things, including this particular issue with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. And these two guys and, the careers of both. And, we've chopped it up, a couple years ago now. I haven't talked to him probably since last year, but he just made a video on and Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn. Now, you guys know I did a video this morning about a similar topic concerning this plan of Eddie getting AJ to the 3-time world championship champion, right? And he's saying, well, hey, I told you guys that Eddie doesn't want it. He reached out to Shelly Finkel because he knew Wilder already had an opponent, which he was fighting Robert Helenius, therefore, and that's the reason why Eddie Hearn reached out to Shelly Finkel. And let me counterpunch. Well, you can't really buy into that. I can't believe that solely. Why? Because Shelly Finkel received, because Eddie Hearn sent Shelly Finkel an email saying that we're interested in a fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. And because he has a fight doesn't mean he can't negotiate another fight. Okay, because once Deontay Wilder was known to fight Tyson Fury, Eddie Hearn was sending offers. Now, what Tay could have said was, Eddie Hearn is sending these offers knowing that Shelly Finkel wouldn't respond, since Shelly Finkel didn't respond. Okay, and when Shelly Finkel didn't respond and admitted that he did not respond because he wasn't sure, okay? He wasn't sure that Wilder would defeat this guy. We have to find out what Deontay Wilder still has left, what he's capable of doing. How is his performance going to be? How is it going to transpire? Okay. That's the only reason he didn't respond, which I still have a problem with that because Shelly Finkel could have responded. Okay. And it just shows the level of disinterest or disrespect towards Team Joshua because Eddie represents Joshua. Okay. That he didn't respond, but then he responded to or via social media. So Eddie got it secondhand when he should have got it first. See, this is what happens when you start bringing emotion into negotiation. Bars. When you bring this emotion in and you have this opinion about a particular person. Shelly don't care for Eddie Hearn. Eddie don't care for Shelly either. But when you give anybody any reason that are known to not like each other, Shelly and Eddie, right? That just opens up a door to close a door. Simple. Oh, see, he didn't respond. Now, see, here's the thing. Now, what Tay Jones is, what he's saying, is it true that the only reason Eddie did that because he didn't think? Well, see, here's the problem. We'll never know that now. Because when Eddie reached out to Shelly, Shelly gave him just enough reason or opportunity not to really press forward or to really take interest in it. You know, so if he knew, so if Eddie, you know, and Eddie's not a mind reader, but if he knows that he sent offers to Shelly Finkel and Shelly Finkel hasn't responded, okay, he could have said that, but he didn't. He said, oh, the only reason he's doing it because he's reaching out. But you failed to realize, and you failed to bring up the fact that Shelly Finkel didn't even respond to Eddie Hearn. He didn't respond to a couple months after. I think that window of time was a couple months, right? And he didn't even respond, so he lacked to do the professional thing. Then Eddie says, you know what? He didn't respond. He admitted he didn't. I offered him a lot of money. He could have responded, which he should have responded, people. See, you can't say, oh, well, he knew that he was going to do that. Well, how do you know he wasn't? You know, sometimes you got to call someone's bluff. If they're bluffing, you have to call it. You can't say he's bluffing and don't call the bluff. That's what Tay's saying. Tay's saying, oh, well, he knew that we had another fight. Team Wilder was preparing for Hellenius. That's the only reason that he called. Yeah, that's what it is. That's the only reason. But here's the problem. You're not management. You're an associate. You're a friend. You're a close friend to the performer, as though you are a performer. But the main star is Wilder. Okay, who does his management? Shelly. Who does Joshua's management? Eddie. So for you saying Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn doesn't want to fight, that's wrong. Because you're now speaking for Eddie and Joshua. Even though Eddie does the management for Joshua. Okay, you pretend like one person can't have their own agenda. We all know Eddie Hearn has an ego. So you mean to tell me if Eddie Hearn really didn't want someone to fight someone, you think that it would be because the fighter didn't want to fight? No, it would be because he wouldn't want him to fight. He would get him always someone else. That's what promoters do. Do you notice how Eddie always has a backup? Okay, so you think he couldn't convince Anthony Joshua not to fight Deontay Wilder? Which, honestly, I don't think he does. I don't think he wants to fight Wilder now. That's why he slipped in that Dillian White comment. Oh, well, maybe Dillian White, top 10 contender, Dillian White in the summer, Wilder possibly in the end of the year. Okay, so he's not trying to do it now. You know, but keep in mind when Eddie sent that offer, okay, when he sent that offer, that was at a time that nobody was champion. They're not champions. Nobody was a champion. Okay, Wilder had lost his belts. He tried and failed. Joshua had lost his belts and he tried and failed. Okay, so they both have two losses to the same by the same person. Okay, and when you're talking about Shelly Finkel and Eddie Hearn, you're talking about two people that don't like each other. Okay, now what have we heard lately about Eddie Hearn and Shelly Finkel? That they're in talks. They're in positive talks. It looks good. That's all we really need to know. Hearing videos like that doesn't help anything. What it does, it feeds an ego or really a narrative that Anthony Joshua doesn't want to fight Deontay Wilder. Okay? And if Deontay, and we know Deontay is a big fan of the people that's closest to him. He believes shit that comes out of them. All it really takes is, let's say, a 78 Sports TV starts preaching it, and then it gets back to Deontay, and Deontay starts believing it, and then guess what? It could hinder the whole negotiation process. Now, see, I'm at the will of thinking this way. If Eddie Hearn doesn't really want to take that fight, based on the other side, they're making it easy for Eddie Hearn not to take that fight based on what they say. Okay, all it takes is Wilder to get all pissed off again and say, I hate and can't stand Eddie Hearn. Then that fight will never happen. Why? Because people from the outside are trying to intervene about something they don't know shit about. They don't know anything about the negotiations or possible talks of Shelly Finkel and Eddie Hearn. But what could happen, the performer himself could be deterred, okay? He can be persuaded by friends of him. Because that's one thing Wilder likes. He likes the attention. He likes the crowd, the circle of people around him. He loves the LDBC. And they love him back. But understand that the LDBC could hinder that fight from happening, especially if Eddie Hearn doesn't want it. Now, you might say, well, dude, if Eddie Hearn don't want it, the fight ain't going to happen. May happen. But if Anthony Joshua, let's say he beats whoever he fights. Let's say Wilder beats whoever he fights. Okay, that could set a collision course. It's not helping that management that don't like each other anyway, okay, and a fan base that don't like Anthony Joshua, which is okay. But what you don't want to do, you don't want to come in the way or get in the way of a possible super fight between two guys that I personally want to see fight for the last 4 or 5 years. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Tay Jones saying that Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn are a bunch of liars and they don't want the fight. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.